Hi guys. So just to recap, I am doing my placement through a local public school system, through their special education department. So today, I want to talk a little bit about conflict and resolving conflict. Um, so I have experienced different levels of conflict since I've been in my placement, and I feel like there's different ways to handle it. So first, I want to talk a little bit about an experience I had with my job, and we were discussing it at my internship because it had just happened. So basically, I went head to head with my job supervisor in order to advocate for one of my clients' needs. To me, it was pretty important stuff, and I was basically being told no about something because of money and that kind of stuff, which to me is like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to social work. I mean, I feel like our job is to help our clients get their needs met, and if I'm being told that they're not going to pay me, to do a certain amount of hours or whatever the case might be, but it's important to the client, I struggle with that a little bit. So anyway, my supervisor and I had been going back and forth through different messages between email and text messages because it was after hours and she didn't want to have a phone conversation. So we didn't leave the conversation very well, but I was able to get my own needs and my client's needs met at the end of the conversation. It ended kind of messy. So when I was talking to my field instructor about it, she had said to me, she's like, Emily, I want you to send her another message, and I want you to thank her and tell her that, your client and yourself are very lucky to be working with somebody like that, and let her know that you just are very appreciative of the work that she was able to do and to get done for you. So I'm not going to lie, when we first had this conversation, I was like, I'm not really sure I want to send that message because it just felt like, I don't know how to say it, like kind of like I was kissing up a little bit, and it just didn't feel super right. But we processed it a little bit more with my field instructor, and we talked about how it really was important. So I did, and since then, the relationship has been 10 times better between myself and my supervisor. So I guess the long story short on that one is that I'm really glad that I ended up doing it, because I think that my supervisor and I are not the kind of people who are ever going to go hang out outside of work, which is absolutely fine, but we need to have a positive working relationship in order for myself and my clients to continue to have positive, good, effective work done. So that was that. So other things that I've experienced more directly related to my placement is that, so a lot of my own experience, like I've shared with you guys in the past, has not been school related. So my field instructor had told me going into this that it's just kind of a different ball game. So school teachers and school administrators have kind of a different outlook on social work and our perspective than we do with a social work lens. So a lot of the times when we've had conversations with teachers or principals or whoever, there's been a lot of pushback of, well, what's the consequence going to be? Or, well, what's the punishment? Or, like, I feel like they have sort of their book in front of them, and they want to be able to look through it and say, okay, little Johnny did X, Y, and Z, so Johnny's punishment or consequence should be X, Y, and Z. And they don't want to have necessarily the therapeutic component in a school setting, which on some level I absolutely get. But so the school system that I'm working in is pushing to really have a lot more of social work views and therapeutic components into it. So, for instance, we had a training very recently, and in that training, we sat down, and the whole idea is that the superintendent put 3 more social work positions into the budget for this coming school year. So those social workers were at this training, and the teachers for this behavioral program were at this training, along with some of the school administrators, the principals, vice principals, and whatnot were there. So they brought somebody special in to do this training, and then you have, this person telling these people, okay, so rather than, expelling a kid or suspending a kid or giving detentions or whatever the case might be, let's try all these other, therapeutic ideas first. And the principals and vice principals all were getting really stuck on, but that's not how we do things. So it took a little bit of extra work to help them understand that, yes, this isn't traditional, and that's the whole idea of why these social work positions are being added. So I hope that all makes sense. And really what I was looking for from you guys for my question for this week was to get some feedback of any conflict that you guys may have experienced so far in your placements or even in your jobs, and how you handle it. Because I feel like sometimes, like my first example of my work supervisor, it doesn't always feel, like the best thing in the moment, but I feel like if we're getting our needs met and our clients' needs met, it's the best thing, right? Anyway, so I was looking for some examples from you guys and how you handled conflict and how that went. Alright, bye guys.